Hi guys, I am Sisanda, also known as GorgeousSisanda. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome to the old subbies, the old gang. Welcome back home, honeys. I am back to plug you. Don't say I don't plug you, because I am about to plug you with like the most important thing right now, since we'll be writing the March test, which is starting in about a month. You need to start preparing, guys, if you want to. Forgive my voice. My life is like everything's happening and year one. Go against it in year one. But as you come up, let's hope you enjoy the video and let's get right into it. Okay, tip number one. Before tip number one, I will not be sharing the normal one where they will tell you to get a study timetable, be organized, avoid distractions and all of that, because some of us we just not like that. We are the cram, pass, forget gang. We'll cram, go and write, pass and forget, and we'll be happy. We just don't have time to prepare in advance, like a month or two in advance. It just does not work for some of us because we are built differently. So our minds memorize things differently. Like, we just cannot study before time. We have to study maybe 2 days before the test, because if I study like 5 days before, I'll forget, and I'm just too lazy, guys. So I won't be sharing that. Be organized, study. That just does not work. So, okay. Number one, you have to know your definitions. All of them. Just know your definitions, because if you know your definitions, you'll be able to answer or understand the question. If in the question you don't understand the definitions, or if you don't know the definitions, you definitely will not understand the question and how to answer it. So knowing your definitions is like point number one. Okay, let's go to point number two. When you're studying, do not study the textbook. Do not study the textbook. For every chapter, before you start a chapter, there are like concepts you need to know. On some textbooks, they write them down before starting a chapter, that in this chapter you have to know this and this and this, you learn this and this and this. Focus on those things only, not everything else, because everything else is just useless. So focus on the things that you need to know by the end of the chapter. Okay, for every chapter, make sure, please do it for myself, do it for me. Make sure that you read the summaries. Read them a million times. Write them down. Sometimes you understand better and you learn better by writing it down. Even if you have it on your textbook, you have it on your phone, take it down and write it in your own words. And that's where you understand. Number three, I know that most teachers will tell you do not study with an exam paper. Listen, child, do that. Do that. Study using your past exam papers. Download them. Instead of trying to answer them yourself, this is a trick. If it does not work for you, then I don't know, but for me it does work. So you will download the exam paper with the memo. Take the answers from the memo, write them on your exam script. Keep that. Write them on your exam script and learn the question and answers both at the same time. Let me repeat. Download your exam papers with memos. Take the answers from the memo and write them on the exam script, and study that both at the same time. Do it at the same time. And that's where you learn how to answer the questions. What keywords are they looking for in your answer, instead of writing a whole long story And guys, please, for your languages, answer according to the mark scheme. You cannot write a 6-line answer for only 2 marks. Please think logically. Do not do that. Avoid long stories, because long stories will finish your time. You won't be able to finish your exam paper if you write long stories. Cut off long stories. Okay? Back to your notes. The notes you wrote, or the summary, sing it if you have to. Read it 1,000,000 times in that 2 days you have. Read it at least 1,000,000 times. Read it. And that way you're not learning, but you're cramming. Mind you, disclaimer, this does not work for long term, because if you do this for a second time, for the third term you will not skip that section that you did for the second time. You have to go back, do it again, cram it again, because once you cram, you write and you forget. And be mindful, when you're cramming definitions, do not forget a word. Trust me, once you forget one word, that whole answer, that whole definition is gone. It's not going to make sense. So if you excuse my voice, if you know that you won't be able to cram the whole thing, at least cram the keywords, because when they're marking, they look for certain words. Okay? Cram the keywords. This is last minute. Guys, don't do this, but do it for now. Next time you will study way beforehand, but for now this will work. And mind you, disclaimer, if it does not work for you, and this game sana and this game, it does not work for you, but you can try it just with your life. If you want to, it'll work, I promise you. If you do it the way I say you must do it, if you listen to my instructions, it'll work. And the next, and let's count, so you count yourself. The next tip is try and do drawings when you're writing your notes. Use color pens, use colorful stuff, because that will guarantee you will remember, because our minds remember better color. So when you visualize something, you're gonna get it. If you want to memorize things faster, you have to use visuals. Let's do this. Out of 5 words, and tell me which one you memorize. It's money, awards, people, outfits, and fashion. Okay, 5 words less, but if I give you 10 words, for example, if you're an average person, you remember 4 or 5 without writing them down. Okay, but if I give you the same words and a story and a drawing, I guarantee you will remember all of them, which is why I'm saying always try to visualize something. If for example in physics you're given multiple choice or something like that, where they won't give you the symbols and not the numbers, make up your own numbers, calculate the thing, and then go and find your answer. Do not guess. One thing I've learned in my 10, it's not 10, it's 11, 11 years of school is even for multiple choice, do not guess. Well, sometimes there's this thing, people sometimes it works, but I wouldn't really encourage such, because it's just nonsense. But do not guess. Do not just go for any answer that looks pretty in your eyes. Work that thing out first, and then go for your answer. Okay. In answering your questions for your exam, highlight the keywords. Highlight those critically evaluate, those distinguish, those tabulate, differentiate. Highlight those things, because they are the instruction words. If you don't understand or highlight those words, you might end up answering the question in a wrong way but give the right answer. In that case, you won't get the mark because it will be taken as if you did not follow instructions. If they say tabulate differences, draw a table, tabulate. Don't write it in points, don't write it in sentences because you will get it wrong, especially in life sciences. In life sciences, there's section where you get a table with A, B, and then A and B, and then you have to answer using A only, B only, both A and B or none. Listen, child, if the answer is A, write A only. Do not write A, because if you only write A, your answer is not complete. Therefore, you will get it wrong. Learn to follow instructions. When you are writing a test or an exam, when the examiner gives you a paper, do not panic. Like, get into the exam room with the mentality that what will happen is something that was supposed to happen. Like, your life was long jotted down. So everything that is happening in your life right now, it's supposed to happen long before you're even born. The book of your life was there. The story of your life was written and recorded, and you cannot really run away from fate and from destiny. So going there with the mentality that what was supposed to happen is supposed to happen. If you're supposed to fail, you will fail. If you're supposed to pass, you will pass. Because if you stress yourself and panic too much, you will end up not finishing the paper, firstly. Secondly, you will end up mixing your answers. And thirdly, you will end up forgetting everything you studied. So do not panic. When you cram, this is like the most important thing that you should do when you cram. The moment you get the exam paper and they tell you to write your name or scan to the paper or start your exam, when it's like time to start by writing everything that you can remember with the pencil, whether in the front or in the back. Start by writing everything that you can remember, all the formulas that you cram, all the sentences, all the keywords. Write them down there before you forget. Okay, so when they ask you a question, like a question and then the answer, you have it in the front and you're going to check it. Do not think you remember the things you cram in the middle of the paper, because you won't. It does not work like that. When you cram, the moment you take your paper, you jot everything down. You write everything down. Even if it's the formulas, listen, just write everything down that you can remember at that time. Maybe some other things you remember in between the paper, maybe you won't, but the things that you can remember when the exam is starting, you write them down with a pencil, and then you can continue with answering on the exam script. Yeah. So if you like this video, please comment, like, and subscribe. I will really love your interaction in the comment section. And if this does not work for you, I'm sorry, child. Like, I'm sorry, this works for me. This is how I'm learning to do some of this stuff. So I mean, like, it's worth it to try though. If you really need to do it last minute. If you're a person who is able to study before time, you can do it like that. If you're someone like me who is lazy and enjoy doing things last minute, you can try the tips I gave you, because I'm that person who do things last minute, because I know myself, I'm a perfectionist. I would want to do it all over again, even for like a transaction we're doing in school. Well, guys, please excuse the rain on this clip. I was recording while it was raining outside, and I guess I did not realize that if being as the rain made so much noise. Please forgive me, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and watch out for my next video. I really apologize for this.